The air above Lahore, you can almost imagine it trembling with the thunder of aircraft, tank engines roaring out on the plains of Chawinda, and soldiers standing like these unbreakable walls at the BRB Canal.
Mm.
On the morning of September 6, 1965, a nation really made a profound declaration. The book we're diving into today, it describes how for 17 unforgettable days, the people of Pakistan faced, well, overwhelming odds.
Right.
Proving that destiny, as the author puts it, is about faith and resolve, not just numbers. This wasn't just a conflict, it was a crucible, really.
Yeah.
Forging a national identity rooted in extraordinary courage and resilience.
What's truly compelling here, I think, is how a foundational moment like the events around Defense Day doesn't just sort of fade into history. It actively resonates, shaping and even redefining a nation's path for decades after. This isn't just looking back. It's a living narrative of how core values forged in these really pivotal times become guiding principles for future challenges.
Mm-hmm.
And those challenges could be on a physical battlefield or, as we'll see, in these totally new digital domains. It's a powerful illustration of sustained national purpose.
And that enduring spirit is precisely what we're here to unpack today. You see, we're embarking on this really fascinating deep dive into a remarkable collection of insights from the book, The Generals of Pakistan, from barracks to blockchain. Our mission for you, our listener, is to explore how military leadership has evolved in Pakistan. Not just, within the traditional confines of the battlefield, but in shaping the very fabric of the nation from its constitutional frameworks right through to its burgeoning digital future. Okay, let's really get into this. The sources we're looking at offer a truly unique perspective. What happens when generals don't just lead armies, but actively engage in shaping economies, driving technological advancements, and even forging digital futures? It challenges our usual understanding of command and national defense.
It really does. This deep dive actually compels us to reevaluate our conventional understanding of military leadership altogether. It poses this fundamental question: how deeply intertwined can defense and, development become, especially in nations navigating complex geopolitical realities and these rapid global shifts?
All right.
The book argues that the scope of national security in the 21st century extends far beyond what we might initially think. It covers everything from sophisticated economic policy to cutting-edge tech innovation. This isn't just about protecting borders anymore. It's about protecting and proactively shaping the entire national landscape.
So you're about to discover some truly surprising facts, experience those genuine aha moments, and hopefully gain a fresh, nuanced perspective on how nations adapt and strive, often against incredible odds.
Yeah.
Consider this your shortcut to being exceptionally well-informed about a story of profound national transformation. A journey that, as the author suggests, really redefines what it means to lead a nation in this ever-changing world. It's a testament to long-term vision and just relentless adaptability.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's begin by rewinding. Back to September 6th, 1965. The book, it's got these vivid descriptions. It doesn't just record the date. It frames it as this truly transformative moment, a declaration in itself.
Mm-hmm.
The author posits that Pakistan, facing what many saw as overwhelming odds, really demonstrated that its destiny was about an unwavering faith and an unyielding resolve rather than just, military numbers.
Right, the sheer asymmetry of it.
Exactly. The 17 unforgettable days of the 1965 war, as Meer meticulously details them, showcased a level of courage that, by the author's account, genuinely astonished the global community. It cemented a national identity rooted deeply in resilience and self-belief.
Yeah.
Take Meer's account of the air warfare, for instance. It's particularly illustrative. He recounts how squadron leader M.M. Alam performed this feat that, it borders on the legendary.
It really does.
Shooting down 5 Indian Hunter aircraft in less than a minute. This, the book notes, set a world record, still unbroken today. And his 9 total kills earned Gick that revered moniker, Saber Slayer.
Incredible.
But the book doesn't just, celebrate this individual heroism. Meer meticulously analyzes how this astonishing feat and Alam's symbolic status afterwards became strategically used by Pakistan. It articulated this doctrine where tactical brilliance, combined with the sheer morale of its pilots, could overcome numerical superiority.
Yeah.
This, Meer argues, shaped Air Force doctrine, recruitment, training methodologies for decades. It became a foundational myth, really, in the best sense of that word.
And that raises a fascinating point, doesn't it? How these individual acts of incredible courage can be woven into a broader national strategy. Meer examines how the Saber Slayer narrative wasn't just a morale booster, it became a concrete example
Hmm.
in strategic planning.
Mm.
It demonstrated that ingenuity and superior training could, in certain situations, counter a larger force. The book delves into how that specific moment solidified Pakistan's commitment to developing these highly skilled elite combat units, prioritizing quality and precision over sheer volume. That's a strategic choice with really long-term implications for its defense posture.
Absolutely. And then on the ground, the defense of Lahore offers another powerful illustration of the author's analysis. Muir dedicates significant attention to Major Raja Aziz Bhatti Shaheed, detailing his heroic stand at the BRB Canal.
A truly pivotal moment.
For 6 grueling days and nights, he defended Lahore against relentless attacks, wave after wave, ultimately making the supreme sacrifice to ensure the city's safety. Meer's analysis highlights how Bhatti's unwavering resolve not only earned him the Nishani-Haider, Pakistan's highest military award, but maybe more profoundly established this indelible link between his personal courage and Lahore's security.
Yeah.
The book argues this act galvanized the entire nation, creating this powerful narrative of self-sacrifice that permeated both civilian and military consciousness. It fostered a collective determination, to defend every inch of the homeland. It showed that profound connection between individual heroism and national security.
Indeed. The book frames Bhatti's stand as his critical moment where military defense became intimately tied to civilian morale. Meer posits that this example cemented a national belief system where every soldier's personal sacrifice was seen as a direct contribution to the safety and honor of the entire population. It's a powerful conceptual link, isn't it?
Yeah.
Between the individual warrior and the collective national will. It moves beyond just a military action to become this symbolic act of national self-preservation.
And the armored combat at Chawinda that further expands on this theme of audacious resolve. The book recounts how 44 Patton tanks, under the brilliant leadership of Lieutenant Colonel Nisar Ahmed Khan, faced an entire Indian armored division. That's 180 tanks.
The odds were staggering.
Completely. Meer's deep dive into this battle reveals that through a combination of strategic deception, brilliant maneuver warfare, and just sheer grit, the Pakistani forces didn't just hold their ground, they destroyed a staggering number of Indian tanks.
Right.
This extraordinary victory, the author notes, earned them the title Men of Steel, showcasing a tactical mastery and an indomitable will that just defied conventional military expectations. Meer analyzes this not just as a victory, but as a demonstration of how innovative tactics and superior training, combined with that unwavering spirit, could turn the tide against seemingly overwhelming numbers. It further reinforced that post-1965 strategic doctrine.
And what's particularly striking in Meer's analysis of Chawinda is how it underscores the emphasis on strategic planning and the effective use of, limited resources. He dissects how the Men of Steel title wasn't just honorary. It reflected a deliberate military philosophy.
How so?
To leverage intelligence, terrain, surprise, basically to compensate for that numerical disadvantage. This battle, as the book explains, became something of a blueprint for future defensive strategies, prioritizing these asymmetric advantages and the psychological impact of decisive engagements.
And the book makes sure we understand this comprehensive defense wasn't limited to land and air. Out at sea, the Pakistan Navy executed this swift and precise strike on Dwarka.
Yeah, that was significant too.
Meer recounts this as a major blow that dramatically impacted Indian naval confidence, effectively projecting Pakistan's resolve across all domains. This act of naval precision, the author argues, further underscored Pakistan's comprehensive military capabilities and its readiness to defend its sovereignty. The collective actions of the armed forces in 1965, as painted by Meer, really solidified this picture of a nation united not just in its defense, but in its strategic ingenuity.
Which raises that important question again. What does it really mean for a nation, particularly one so vastly outnumbered, to not just defend itself, but to prevail in such a decisive, multi-domain way?
Right.
Meer's book argues it wasn't solely about military victory, it was about forging a national identity and this deep-seated resolve that would influence its trajectory for decades. These specific examples demonstrate not only the strategic thinking and courage of the time, but also a remarkable application of the available technology and resources, pushing them to their absolute limits to achieve victory.
Yeah.
The book suggests this speaks to an intrinsic national character that prioritizes self-reliance, strategic innovation, and just unwavering determination.
So, if 1965 was this formative crucible, as the book powerfully argues, how did that initial declaration of resolve evolve over the decades? Did that same spirit of never bow, always rise translate effectively when the nature of warfare itself fundamentally changed?
That's the core of the evolution story, isn't it?
Exactly. The sources suggest that this crucible of 1965 was absolutely pivotal, and Meer meticulously traces its direct influence. It didn't just end a conflict, it forged a national resolve that directly led to Pakistan's subsequent pursuit of nuclear deterrence,
Right. Laying the groundwork.
laying the groundwork for its path towards economic resilience and fostering global partnerships, too. It truly was, as the book declares, a testament to Pakistan's determination to not only survive, but to assert its place on the world stage. That spirit, born in those 17 days, became the bedrock of its future strategic planning and national development. And this intrinsic national character, this unwavering determination you mentioned, the book argues, directly influenced Pakistan's audacious pursuit of nuclear deterrence. Is that right? How does Mir connect that post-1965 resolve to such a monumental strategic shift?
Well, that's a vital distinction Mir makes. While 1965 certainly ignited the resolve and demonstrated the necessity of self-reliance, the book meticulously unpacks a more complex, multifaceted decision-making process.
Okay.
It wasn't just resolve. External security guarantees, evolving regional threats, and crucially, the political will of leaders like Zulfikar Ali Bhutto then provided the catalyst and the resource.
Right, it's layered.
Exactly. Mir shows it's a layered process where resolve meets opportunity and strategic imperative. And that culminates in Bhutto's powerful declaration, "We will eat grass, but we will build the bomb," which, as the book explains, wasn't just rhetoric. It was a deeply strategic articulation of national will.
Indeed. And Mir then takes us on this fascinating leap forward, 60 years, to May 2025. He shows how that spirit of never bow, always rise was tested again, but this time on a very different battlefield. It showcases this remarkable evolution in national defense.
Yeah.
The foundational lessons of 1965, the author argues, had truly become the strategy of the future, but adapted to an entirely new era of conflict and statecraft. By 2025, the legacy of Bhutto's declaration had fully come to fruition. Meer details how Pakistan possessed a full-spectrum nuclear deterrent. Now, just to clarify for our listeners, the book explains full-spectrum deterrent means having the capability to launch nuclear weapons from land-based missiles, air-based bombers, and sea-based platforms like submarines.
The triad capability.
Exactly, the triad. This capability, Meer argues, significantly enhances deterrence because it makes a retaliatory strike virtually guaranteed, even if one leg of the triad is neutralized. It solidifies strategic autonomy and global credibility. And the book connects this directly back to the lessons of 1965, where that numerical inferiority demanded a truly unassailable defense.
And what's fascinating here is how the book outlines the strategic logic behind this. It's not just about accumulating weapons. It's about cultivating a credible, resilient deterrent posture that commands respect on the world stage.
Right.
Mir discusses how this achievement by 2025, with 170 warheads and advanced missiles, became a central pillar of Pakistan's foreign policy and a testament to its long-term strategic planning. And that's directly traceable, he argues, to the lessons learned about self-reliance and resolve.
The strategic depth Mir vividly illustrates was profoundly tested during a 4-day crisis called Operation Sindoor in May 2025, where Pakistan once again faced India. The book highlights how this engagement showcased Pakistan's advanced military capabilities. You had Pakistani pilots flying sophisticated J-10s, deploying cutting-edge PL-15 missiles, and operating these robust HQ-9 air defense networks.
State-of-the-art stuff.
Absolutely. Mir posits that once more the impossible became possible, as the nation's upgraded military tech and strategic acumen allowed it to prevail. It demonstrated a continuous commitment to innovation and readiness that evolved directly from that spirit of 1965.
Yeah.
And then, in a truly historical moment described in the book, Pakistan's leadership elevated a soldier to the rank of Field Marshal once more Syed Asim Munir, only the second in Pakistan's history after Ayub Khan.
That's a significant move.
Hugely significant. But crucially, Mir emphasizes that his battlefield transcended the physical. Field Marshal Munir's command encompassed what the book calls blockchain diplomacy, AI governance, and cryptocurrency reserves.
Right. That's the really paradigm-shifting part.
It marked this profound shift, demonstrating how national security and strategic leadership had evolved far beyond traditional military roles into these digital, economic, and even diplomatic spheres.
And the book delves into the very real implications of this, which is crucial for understanding the leap, like blockchain diplomacy. That sounds catchy, right? But it's explored as a mechanism for creating tamper-proof digital ledgers for sensitive international agreements,
Okay.
ensuring transparency, reducing disputes over verification, and cryptocurrency reserves. They're analyzed not as speculative investments, but as strategic assets.
Yeah.
Ways for nations to navigate traditional financial sanctions, or maybe fund covert operations with more autonomy, protecting national interests in a pretty volatile global economy.
Wow.
The book outlines how these aren't just IT projects. They're new frontiers of statecraft,
Right.
requiring military leaders to possess a completely new skill set.
So this transition from conventional battles to this hybrid, digitally infused conflict of 2025 really showcases a remarkable strategic evolution, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
It points to a deep understanding of future warfare and nation-state resilience, where traditional military might is augmented, and in some cases redefined, by technological prowess and innovative governance. This continuous adaptation seems key to maintaining sovereignty and influence in this rapidly changing global landscape.
Indeed. What's fascinating here is the sheer adaptability demonstrated as Meer analyzes it. The book argues that this transition from the conventional battles of 1965 to the hybrid digitally infused conflict of 2025 showcases this remarkable strategic evolution.
Mm.
It points to a deep understanding of future warfare and nation-state resilience, where traditional military might is augmented, sometimes redefined, by tech prowess and innovative governance. This continuous adaptation, Meer asserts, is absolutely key to maintaining sovereignty and influence in a rapidly changing world where the nature of power itself is transforming.
So what does this all mean for the big picture as Mir presents it? The sources elegantly connect Defense Day 1965 and the War of 2025 as these two bookends of a single continuous story.
Right, a single narrative.
A single narrative of courage, innovation, and destiny. It's about how core values can translate into very modern forms of power, demonstrating this consistent thread of national purpose and the enduring spirit of never bow, always rise across different eras and different battlefields. The book truly argues that national strength lies in its ability to consistently evolve and redefine its strategic capabilities.
Yeah.
Now, let's turn our attention to the mind behind these profound insights. Zaheer Ahmad Meer, the author of this foundational work, The Generals of Pakistan, From Barracks to Blockchain. He's a remarkable individual with a truly diverse professional background.
He really is.
A highly respected constitutional and corporate lawyer, a committed social reformer, and of course, a prolific writer. Meer brings to this work decades of legal insight and a lifetime of what the book terms patriotic service, which profoundly enriches his perspective on national leadership. It allows him to view generals through a lens far wider than purely military strategy.
And that raises an important question, doesn't it? How does a background in constitutional law and corporate affairs uniquely shape one's perspective on military leadership? Meer's expertise allows him to offer this truly holistic view,
Right.
moving beyond just tactics and battlefield strategies to deeply consider the structural, societal, and economic impact of generals. Such a background, as you see in his writing, provides a deeper analysis of how military actions intersect with legal frameworks, governance, economic policies, national development.
Yeah, it connects the dots.
It really does. It offers a far more comprehensive understanding of leadership than a purely military viewpoint might provide.
Right.
It allows him to connect the barracks to the boardroom, you could say.
And here's where his authority isn't just professional, it's deeply personal, which gives his work this unparalleled depth and authenticity. Zaheer Ahmad Meer, the author, belongs to the only family in Pakistan awarded 3 Tariq-e-Pakistan gold medals.
That's extraordinary.
It's not just a historical footnote. It's a living legacy, a direct, multi-generational connection to the very devotion and struggle that gave birth to the nation.
Wow.
To give you a sense of this incredible lineage, those awarded include his father, Bashir Ahmad Meer, his uncle and father-in-law, Nazir Ahmad Ghazi, and his grandfather's elder brother, Al-Haj Abdul Ghani. These individuals weren't just spectators. They were pivotal figures in the very making of Pakistan.
Actively involved.
Deeply involved, each contributing significantly to the national movement and its foundational ideology. Their sacrifices and dedication are literally woven into the fabric of the nation's history. It provides the author with this intimate connection to the values and struggles that shaped Pakistan. It makes you wonder, doesn't it, what kind of foundational stories shape young Zaheer, and how that personal connection must have driven him to seek such a holistic understanding of national leadership beyond just the official histories.
Well, what's genuinely fascinating here is that this isn't just an academic exploration. It's steeped in this profound personal history of devotion to Pakistan's cause. This lineage doesn't just inform the narrative, it adds an unparalleled layer of authenticity and insight to the author's work.
Right.
The book, as a result, approaches the subject of national leadership, particularly military leadership, with an inherent understanding of the sacrifices and vision that went into building and sustaining the nation. This unique perspective, as Meer often demonstrates, influences the specific questions asked and the nuanced conclusions drawn in the book. It imbues them with a sense of historical gravitas and deep personal commitment. It allows him to offer insights that someone without that familial connection might simply miss.
So what does this all mean for us, the listeners? This isn't just another history book. It's a study guided by someone with a literal family legacy of nation building. This deeply personal lens shapes the entire inquiry, posing a bold and audacious central question that truly redefines how we think about military roles. It invites us to consider leadership not just through professional achievement, but through the profound impact of deeply rooted personal values and a multi-generational commitment to national purpose.
Absolutely.
And this brings us to that audacious central question that guides Zaheer Ahmad Meer's book, and indeed this entire deep dive. What happens when generals do more than lead armies, when they shape constitutions, economies, technologies, and even digital futures? This isn't rhetorical. It's the core of the inquiry, pushing us to explore the expansive and often unexpected roles military leaders have played in Pakistan's development, moving far beyond traditional command.
And this question, in Meer's hands, compels us to rethink the evolving role of national security leadership in the 21st century. It's not solely about defending borders, right? It's about actively defending and shaping the entire socioeconomic and technological landscape of a country.
A much broader scope.
Much broader. The book argues for a much broader definition of generalship, one that intricately integrates military strategy with comprehensive national development, nuanced economic policy, and cutting-edge technological innovation. This, Meer suggests, is a critical lens for understanding true resilience and sovereignty in a complex, interconnected global environment.
This is the profound lens we're going to carry with us as we continue to explore the intricate journey mapped out in the Generals of Pakistan. It's a question that challenges our preconceived notions and opens up this rich, complex narrative about the true scope of leadership in a nation's destiny.
Yeah.
So the sources lay out a truly comprehensive journey, unfolding chapter by chapter, tracing Pakistan's trajectory through the lens of its military leaders. This isn't just a linear historical account, it's a thematic exploration of how these figures have influenced the nation at critical junctures. The breadth and depth are really remarkable.
Covers a lot of ground.
It really does. The book starts by laying the foundations with chapters 1 through 3. Chapter 1, The Autonomy of a Garrison State, isn't just descriptive. Meer analyzes the historical circumstances that led to the Pakistani military's powerful role right from inception. He argues it was a foundational imperative born from geopolitical realities, not some gradual power grab.
Right, context is key there.
Then Chapter 2, Pakistan's Army in Global Perspective, offers this comparative scorecard. It critiques conventional metrics and proposes a new framework to assess military effectiveness beyond just firepower, emphasizing strategic resilience and societal integration.
Interesting approach.
And Chapter 3 delves into Pakistan's wars and the genesis of deterrence, meticulously tracing how the existential conflicts, especially 1965, forged that unyielding resolve for an indigenous defense capability, really setting the stage for nuclearization. Then, the book meticulously examines key leaders and eras. Chapter 4 focuses on Ayub Khan's golden decade and the defining 1965 war. Meer's analysis here is particularly striking. He argues that Ayub's foundational economic policies, often seen through a lens of modernization, were strategically engineered to create an industrial base directly tied to military self-sufficiency.
So not just general development.
Exactly. For instance, the expansion of heavy industry wasn't just about job creation. It was about building the indigenous capacity to maintain and eventually upgrade military hardware, anticipating future conflicts. It reframes industrial development as an integral part of national defense planning, a concept Meer traces back to the very idea of a garrison state.
What's fascinating there is how Meer pushes us beyond a simplistic economic history. He shows that the military's involvement in economic planning under Ayub wasn't simply about control, but about creating the self-reliant defense industrial complex,
Right.
ensuring that Pakistan could sustain its military might without absolute dependence on external aid. This conceptualizes economic growth itself as a form of strategic defense. It's quite insightful.
Moving to Chapter 5, Meer delves into Yahya Khan and the tragedy of 1971. Meer's analysis here is particularly potent. He moves beyond conventional blame to explore how the military's initial political overreach, maybe stemming from that expanded role after 1965, inadvertently created the conditions for the constitutional crisis that exacerbated the 71
A
situation.
complex interplay.
Very complex. He examines the delicate balance between military power and political legitimacy, revealing this tragic paradox where expanded influence without sufficient political adaptation could lead to unforeseen national fragmentation. He also looks at the geopolitical pressures, Cold War superpowers, regional rivalries, offering this multi-layered explanation for the crisis.
Right.
Chapter 6 covers Zia-ul-Haq, discussing his era of Islamization and the profound impact of the Afghan jihad. Meer analyzes Zia's Islamization policies not just as a religious imperative, but as a strategic tool.
To build legitimacy.
Exactly, to build legitimacy and social cohesion, particularly after the trauma of 1971. He also dissects the Afghan jihad, meticulously tracing its geopolitical ramifications. How it transformed Pakistan into a frontline state, the strategic alliances forged with the U.S. and Saudi Arabia, and the long-term complex domestic consequences that the book argues continue to resonate today, from economic shifts to internal security challenges.
And it's crucial to note how Meer scrutinizes the unintended consequences of such grand strategic moves. He explores how the short-term gains of the Afghan jihad, while bolstering Pakistan's regional standing and military capabilities, also introduce these deeply complex societal and ideological shifts.
Right.
Shifts that pose significant challenges in the decades that followed. This demonstrates the author's willingness to engage with the full spectrum of outcomes, not just the immediately visible successes.
Definitely. Chapter 7 then analyzes Musharraf, his concept of enlightened moderation, and the transformative telecom revolution that took place under his watch. Meer argues that enlightened moderation was more than just a foreign policy slogan.
What was it then?
It was a conceptual framework aimed at balancing Pakistan's identity between its Islamic heritage and its modern aspirations, especially in that post-9/11 world. He then meticulously connects this to the telecom revolution, demonstrating how Musharraf's administration strategically fostered an explosion in mobile communications and internet penetration.
That was a huge shift.
Massive. And Meer argues it wasn't just about economic liberalization, it was about creating a digitally empowered populace, fostering economic growth for stability, and simultaneously enhancing capabilities for information dissemination, intelligence gathering, even covert operations, transforming the nation's digital infrastructure into a strategic asset.
Wow.
Finally, Chapter 8 introduces us to Syed Asim Munir, a figure the book frames as the digital field marshal. This chapter, which truly defines the blockchain aspect of the book's title, explores the unprecedented expansion of military leadership into these highly technical and economic domains.
Right, bringing it up to the present.
Exactly. Meer argues that Munir's era sees the full maturation of the barracks to blockchain concept, where national security is intrinsically linked to digital resilience, economic autonomy through cryptocurrencies, and even the strategic deployment of AI in governance and diplomacy.
What's fascinating here is how each of these leaders, through vastly different contexts and challenges, contributes to the overarching narrative of generals shaping more than just military strategy.
Yeah, you see the thread.
You do. From state building under Ayub Khan to social engineering under Zia and technological transformation under Musharraf, each era adds a layer to this complex tapestry. This approach allows us to see the continuity of influence despite the dramatic changes in national and international circumstances. It's not just a collection of biographies, it's a systemic analysis of evolving leadership roles and how these military figures, as Meer argues, continuously adapted their vision of national security to the prevailing challenges of their time.
The sources clearly show a story not of stagnation or collapse, but of constant, sometimes radical adaptation. It's a narrative that traces a profound transformation, emphasizing the shift from traditional military concerns to modern, complex domains that now define national power and influence. It's a compelling testament to a nation's ongoing effort to redefine itself in the face of an ever-changing global landscape.
Yeah.
The book eloquently details this evolution using these evocative contrasts that really bring the transformation to life. For instance, it illustrates a journey from dams to data centers. Now, it sounds like a poetic way to describe a massive shift, but what does Meer truly mean by this evolution in strategic priorities as he analyzes it?
Well, it's a brilliant metaphor, actually. Meer argues that early nation building post-independence saw massive physical infrastructure projects like dams as cornerstones of national power. They provided essential energy, water, agricultural stability for a growing population, critical for economic growth and human security.
The foundations.
The absolute foundations. But as the world rapidly digitized, data centers emerged as the new strategic infrastructure. He illustrates how the security of information, the capacity for digital governance, and the control of vast digital communication networks became as vital, maybe even more so, than physical resources.
Right.
The military's strategic oversight then shifted from securing physical assets and conventional borders to securing the digital backbone of the nation, recognizing that information warfare and cybersecurity are now as critical as ground combat.
That's a profound shift. And the book moves from coups to crypto diplomacy. This signifies not just a change in technology, but perhaps in governance and international relations too, doesn't it?
Precisely. Meer unpacks this by showing how traditional methods of political change, historically involving military interventions or coups, have evolved alongside global financial and diplomatic landscapes. Crypto diplomacy, as the book explains it, isn't about using Bitcoin for state negotiations.
Okay, good clarification.
Yeah, it's more about leveraging the underlying blockchain technology for secure, transparent, and potentially untraceable financial transactions or communication channels in a diplomatic context. It's about creating new avenues for international engagement and state-level financial autonomy, especially in a world where traditional financial systems can be weaponized through sanctions. It's a redefinition of how nations exert influence and protect their interests in the shadows of conventional diplomacy.
And perhaps most tellingly, it describes a journey from barracks to blockchain, encapsulating the vast expansion of military leadership into the most advanced technological frontiers. This really puts the core argument of the book into perspective.
Indeed, the barrack to blockchain phrase, as Meer elaborates, symbolizes the military's comprehensive integration into all aspects of national power in the 21st century. It means that strategic command isn't just about troop movements or hardware anymore. It encompasses securing digital supply chains, leveraging artificial intelligence for predictive analytics in defense and economy, and even exploring the strategic implications of decentralized financial systems for national stability. The book argues that this transformation represents a nation's continuous effort to redefine its capabilities and influence in a rapidly changing world. It's an exploration of how a military, traditionally seen as a force for defense, can also become an engine for economic, technological, and even diplomatic innovation. The implications of this broader engagement are significant for national development and sovereignty. It suggests that true security in the 21st century requires this multifaceted approach that integrates all elements of national power, fundamentally challenging the conventional silos between military, economic, and technological spheres.
So what does this all mean for the future? The latter chapters of the book, which, hopefully we'll deep dive into in the future, even explore 3 compelling scenarios for Pakistan at 100 years old.
Really looking ahead.
Yeah, it makes you think about the incredible journey of adaptation a nation can undertake, not just to survive, but to thrive and redefine its place in the world. It's a powerful testament to long-term vision and Meer's comprehensive analytical framework.
Which raises an important question. How do we rigorously assess the performance and impact of such diverse and expansive roles? The book provides a rigorous analytical framework for evaluating these complex interwoven responsibilities.
How does it do that?
Well, Meer delves into comparative analysis, examining Pakistan's trajectory against other developing nations. He explores the profound role of ideology in shaping national purpose, scrutinizes critical infrastructure development from a strategic lens, analyzes the formation of strategic alliances in a multipolar world.
Okay.
Crucially, the book also touches upon human rights considerations within the context of military governance, offers a comprehensive look at the development of the Army's digital empire, all alongside performance scorecards that attempt to objectively measure the efficacy of these multifaceted interventions.
So it's quite thorough.
Very thorough. This comprehensive approach allows for a nuanced understanding of leadership efficacy across these very domains, going beyond simple military successes to evaluate broader national impact.
Okay. You've just taken a deep dive into the fascinating introductory insights from the generals of Pakistan, from barracks to blockchain. We've seen how the defining courage and resolve of 1965 continue to echo, how leadership has profoundly evolved from traditional military roles into the digital age, and how a nation's destiny is shaped by constant adaptation, all guided by the unique perspective offered by the author's extraordinary family legacy.
And what's fascinating here, as Meer's work demonstrates, is that consistent thread of resilience and a long-term vision that transcends immediate challenges. This isn't just about defense, it's about the relentless pursuit of a national purpose, manifesting in strategic adaptations from conventional warfare right through to the complexities of the digital age. It underscores the idea that a nation's strength is its capacity for continuous evolution and self-reinvention, always finding new ways to secure its future.
This deep dive, released fittingly on Defense Day, isn't just history, it's an inspiration, as the author intends it. It's built on the conviction, explicitly stated in the source material, that the courage and strategic evolution we've explored today, from the battlefields of 1965 to the digital frontiers of 2025, are not isolated moments.
Right.
They're crucial milestones in Pakistan's destiny. The book argues this isn't just a nation of limitations, it's a nation of profound possibilities, constantly striving to redefine its capabilities and influence on the world stage.
Yeah.
So, what does this all mean for you? Consider how nations, perhaps even organizations or individuals, must constantly redefine defense and leadership in a world where the battlefield is no longer just physical, but digital, economic, and even diplomatic. What unexpected domains might today's leaders need to master to ensure their future and the future of those they lead? What personal barracks to blockchain transformation might you need to undertake?
And if we connect this to the broader picture, the story of Pakistan's generals from barracks to blockchain offers this powerful case study for any nation grappling with how to merge historical legacy with future imperatives. It raises an important question. What kind of truly multifaceted leadership defines success in the 21st century?
Yeah.
And how can a deep-seated national resolve be harnessed, innovated, and continuously adapted to navigate these complex, evolving challenges?
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and stay well informed.